What's up, YouTube? This is TheBillyBobHD bringing you another Let's Play. Today I've got some more Colonial Conquest and we're playing as Germany. Last episode we lost a ton of men down here in Kenya. It appears that my intelligence report, even though I've got 3 green dots here, did not come back super accurate. We lost about 400 regiments, and you can see here Defender fires 2 times on first battle round. So we did that, and we were absolutely slaughtered. So hopefully I've put somewhat of a dent into the Kenyan defenders here, because we have gone to war with the United States. I think a couple people have suggested that we do so, and as it turns out, last episode, they actually went to war with me. They declared war on me. The good news is the rest of the world is now at war with the United States. They are the strongest nation. You can see 881 victory points, which is kind of nuts. But I'm also at war with the French. You can see last episode we finished managing to conquer the rest of mainland France here. So I think France, if we zoom out, is actually now just contained to these 2 territories here, Cambodia and Indochina. So we've basically knocked France off of the map. They've got a negative 117 victory point score. They're going to be making minimal money, if anything. Yeah, I don't know what the incomes are for these areas, but they're super weak regardless. So I think the first priority is to try to reinforce my Eastern African holdings here and try to mount another attack up onto Kenya. So in order to do that, we've got to transfer some of our recently built troops. So we're going to send my fleet here, my main fleet, back to Dutchland North here. And it is fall of 1897. Excuse me. And so when we do that, I think I'm going to make another run at Kenya, and we're coming up on spring too, so I'm going to build more troops here, and then the plan is to reinforce Northern Africa up here, probably in Algeria, because I want to try to invade Morocco, Western Africa, if I can. So, okay, let's go ahead and go to the next phase here. Alright, sitting now there, it is winter of 1897. So let's load up our boats. We're going to take you actually down here to the Horn of Africa. I can bring 442 at a time, so we'll do that. I still have 1,900 troops here back home. Let's go to the next phase. Get ready for battle. Okay, my men are now on the ships and have been delivered with no problems, which is awesome. Okay, great. Now it is spring of 1898. So it's time for us to build troops and or spy. I already know what's going on in Kenya. I do not have an intelligence report on Mozambique here, so let's go ahead and get one of those for $1 million. 131 troops there. That's not too bad. Boer republics. Do I have an intelligence report? Yes, I do. Western Africa. Okay. And Morocco. Okay. Morocco's going to be a pretty stout defender. So let's go ahead and build up some more troops here. I'm going to build 50 ships, 594 men. Excellent. We also need to take our fleet and move it back up here to, there we go, the mainland. So I build up my fleet over time. That's going to be important. Once, now that France is basically out of the game, we need to sort of weaken the United States where we can. Serbia here, you can see they U.S. currently holds that one, but it does have 402 men sitting there, and I think, do they have any defensive bonuses? Yes, they have a fort, so they get to fire twice on the first round, and that's going to be problematic. I'm going to have to try to move south into Serbia, maybe Greece and Ottoman Empire later, a little bit later, hopefully not too long. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next phase. This is actually a glitch. You see, United States, it's actually showing me as playing as the United States, so I'm gonna just make a move for them really quickly. I've experienced this a couple of times, and you just have to sort of move for them really quickly. I have no control over that country or anything like that, but it is definitely a glitch in the game, which sucks. It just pops up every 10 years or so, it seems like. Okay, so now we're back to us. I want to take some troops and reinforce Algeria. So we're going to take 492 men down there. Still showing 2,000 here at home. And since we are at war with the United States, I'm going to start reinforcing some of my other sort of areas, some of my other holdings. We need to reinforce Europe, or at least what we have in Europe. I'm going to move 400 down there into the Low Countries, sort of spread them out and bring them down as much as possible. We do have a decent defense set up in Africa with 500 men. I've got them spread across the western front here just to be able to defend in case the United States decides to reinforce and try to invade me further. Alright, let's go to 443 men here versus the 87. Let's try again. Let's go after Kenya. We'll bring 442 men into that fight. It is worth 770k. So that's a decent income. Make sure we haven't gone to war with anybody else. I'm currently almost at $29 million in income, which is nice. Alright, next phase. Get ready for battle. Reinforcing my 500 troops or so down here into Algeria. Excellent. Now I have 834 sitting there. It's a pretty strong force. Reinforcing into the Low Countries, and then... See, look at that. That is tough. That is really tough. Lost another 442 men. So I'm just wasting money doing that. It may make more sense to try to invade over here into South Africa, which I do have an intelligence report on. It's just not a very good one. If we invade here into South Africa, then... Or, excuse me, Southwestern Africa. Maybe we can come up this way. Take this little chunk out of Africa as well. Ugh. I hate wasting troops like that. Hate it, hate it, hate it. Alright, let's move our reinforcement numbers down this way a little further. Meanwhile, I'm going to move another round of 400 men behind them. Oh, the slider is so sensitive. There we go. 402. Whatever. Alright, now it is fall of 1898. Next phase. Oh, I forgot to have my Algerian troops attack. We did want to do that. Whoops. It's okay. We still have time. Yeah. So if we look at Morocco here, 265 troops. It is worth only $500,000, but that's fine. We're going to take our full force over that way and try to hit Morocco, punch them in the jaw. And then we can also... I'll bring down these reinforcements like this. Low Countries, one down as well. That's going to be sort of my garrison force there, 400 men in each province. Later we can build forts if we need to, just to get that bonus. Okay, about 406 men we'll send over there. Leaves me with 829 here at home. So where is our fleet? Did they destroy my fleet? No, they're right here. Take you back over here, because we're going to need to reinforce Africa again since the Kenyan disaster occurred again. Might try to invade southwestern Africa. So that looks good for now. We're getting ready to head into spring, so fresh troops, fresh fleets, which I love. They do have a fort, so they were able to crush me there. Wow. Not having much luck here this episode. It's becoming evident to me that you're going to need a hell of a lot of troops in order to take some of these territories with forts in them. So I need to immediately reinforce Africa where I can, and now I'm sort of on the defensive, right? Move forces, Algeria, move another about 500 men or so down there. Okay, so after we do that, let's go ahead and build additional fleets, so I'll build another 50 ships. Doing that over time to build up the fleet, 627 men, that sounds good. Gives me a nice little 900, almost 1,000 men there in Berlin. Alright, okay, let's go ahead. Next phase. So, I've lost about 1,200 men in my attacks in Africa. That is not cool, man. Here we go, this glitch again. Ugh, I hate that. So I'll always do something like minimal for the AI in that situation. I don't want to make any, I don't want to, you know, do anything that's would be considered cheating or do anything that would really swing the tide in my favor, if you will. I don't even look to see what the populations are or anything like that because I don't want to ruin my experience of the campaign. You know, maybe we should try to attack Western Africa there. They do have a fort, and they get to fire twice. I'm going to need more men, though. Seriously. We're going to need seriously more men. Okay, so, now that I've reinforced there, I'm actually going to try to reinforce again this year. Move the ships back here to Berlin. Ship some more troops down to Africa. I do need to secure my eastern borders over here. They're just sitting there sort of naked at the moment. Get ready for battle. Okay, go ahead and start my turn. I now have 542 ships that I can bring down. .542. Let's bring you guys down here into Algeria yet again. Alright, excellent. Thank you. I now have 1,035 there. Alright, take the ships back yet again. Like that. And this is winter of 1899, so we're about to hit the millennium. 1900 spring. Spring is my favorite season because I get to build troops. I think we're good as far as fleet size for the moment. I'm able to reinforce or bring about 1,000 regiments around the world if I need to, which I think is a good number. And should we try to go after Morocco again? Western Africa might be the better choice. It is a weaker province. They still have a fort, of course. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Before I forget, let's go ahead and build as many infantries as we can. 717. Nice. So now that we've done that, let's go ahead and invade southwestern Africa like this with 542 troops. And then we're going to take my big force here in Africa, in Algeria, and let's go ahead and attack down this way into Western Africa. They do have the fort, of course, but it is plain terrain, so not too bad. Next phase. America again. So dumb. Move 10 ships around just to get through that. That's definitely a glitch. Okay, awesome. So that worked just the way I wanted it to. Someone tried to attack the Ottoman Empire. I was totally... Wow, we lost 700 troops in order to take Western Africa. It was only worth 17 victory points. I did get 31 victory points, though, for Southwest Africa. Ah, see. If I can drive the U.S. off of this, I'm going to need about another 1,000 men in order to do this. Wasting lots of troops. Zambia, I do have an intelligence report, but look how strong that shit is. 1,400. Cannot do that. 90 men here in Boer republics, so let's attack there. Keep the good times rolling. Let's go ahead and consolidate these troops from Cameroon over here into Western Africa. I can take the fleet now, and let's move you guys back home. Next phase. Okay, taking a hit there. Okay, sweet. We now own the Boer republics. Fleet makes it back to Berlin just fine. Boer republics, 15 victory points. Stolen from the United States. Still significantly behind, though. Oh well. Now, can we take Mozambique with our existing force? Yeah, that's going to be tough. Especially with a fort sitting there. Don't know that that's the right choice. I think we've actually used up all the manpower that I want to use for the season. Or for the year, I should say. Alright, next phase. Get ready for battle. Winter, let's skip winter and get back into the spring season. Excellent. Alright, now. Let's go ahead and build again as many infantries as I can. I'm only able to afford about 758 per turn. So now I'm sitting with a nice little 1355 there. Does it make more sense to try to take Serbia away? That's pretty heavily defended. With a fort and all. Might be useful to... Should we go after Morocco? Yeah, I think the next priority is to take Morocco. Portugal is very heavily defended. So let's transport another 500 troops down here to Western Africa. See what we can do. Alright, next phase. 1901 now. Blah, here we go. Alright. Next player. Ready, get ready for battle. $1,100 men now sitting in Western Africa, the single strongest province that I have, and it looks like the United States, did they take it? No, they did not. Persia mounted a successful defense as the United States was trying to annex them, so pretty sweet. Alright, let's take these guys. Move into Morocco there, please. Please take that. We're about to take some heavy casualties yet again. This is the bulk of my fighting force. Oh my god, 600 taken away there. How did 308? That should do it. Wow, the intelligence report was awful there. 48 victory points for Morocco, you guys. Damn. Alright, so, since that one has such a heavy victory point value, we're going to want to build a fort there whenever we get to spring yet again. Abyssinia is worth a lot. Horn of Africa is worth a lot as well. Southwestern Africa was at least valuable. Yeah, we're going to want to build a fort in Morocco for sure. Which is going to cost me like $1 million, you know. But alright, let's take the fleet back home. Very nice. Next phase. Okay, guys, make it home safely. Thank you. Spring, yes. Oh, let's not forget the fort like we talked about. Okay, that cost me $1 million there, but that'll be nice and defensible. The northern African part of my empire is so exposed. It really is. I'm going to actually continue pumping troops into the region, just to have reinforcements. Because I can reinforce Europe fairly quickly because I have my industrial centers there. All right, getting ready for battle. Persia is trying to be invaded again. US still did not take that. And I think, now that I think about it, I think that's because I'm moving like a ship or two over to that, just to get through that little glitch that we're seeing. Oh no, it's summer. We missed the spring season. Damn it. Okay, we're gonna have to survive this year without any additional troops. The good news is we'll get a shit ton of them next year. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Again, this has been TheBillyBobHD. Please remember to like, subscribe, and or comment if you've enjoyed this content, and we'll catch you next time.